recording this, recording this informational session with my other parts of the team. So as Drew is here and Alice is here, who's all been part of this team that are bringing all of these discussions and really just real conversations about careers and possibilities and green jobs and the whole thing. So with no further hesitation, I would like King Moore to introduce himself and tell us a little bit about your occupational journey.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is King Moore. I'm the outreach director here at the Electrical Training Institute, which is the IBEW Local 11 and the National Electrical Contractor Association school for you to learn to be an electrician and or further your education, even going into being a contractor. So we do both at this school. My introduction to this trade was back in the 9th grade, believe it or not. I was pretty much at a boarding school in the 9th grade, and there was a situation where it had all night lights were only for the seniors. My roommate just happens to know a little bit about electrical, so he decided after a while, being teased, he said, "King, we're gonna go get some all night lights." I was like, "Okay, how we doing that?" They got it on the automatic. I knew nothing about electrical. So I watched him do it. I'm holding a ladder and looking at him mess with this wire. And I'm like, "Dude, you know what you're doing?" And he was like, I told him it was dangerous. He's going to kill himself. Of course, that's the things kids say in the 9th grade. We're not really nice about it. And he's like, "King, it's not dangerous if you know what you're doing." And that stuck with my head. But when he got those all night lights in our room, it just blew me away. So I was intrigued at that moment. So I was like, "Man, that is amazing. You just took something and you switched it." And I know you were messing with it because he never cut the power off. So I saw the sparking and I'm like, "Goodness, I'm gonna be a witness to this crime scene." But, it ended up being good. And further on down the line, after getting out of the military, I decided to pursue the electrical field. And it took me a minute to find it because, it's not like it's advertised like colleges are and stuff like that. So I just happened to be over some friend's house and one of their buddies came by and they noticed a difference in him. And they asked him, "So what do you do?" He said, "I'm an electrician." So my ears perked up. Somebody that's an electrician, I can ask them. And so he gave me the information and I ended up joining the IBEW. And it was the greatest thing I've ever done out of all the jobs. I've worked at a desk job. I've worked for customer service, security guard. I've done all these little things, after the military. And so when I finally found that for me, it was a good transition from the military into the trade because it was all about following instructions, being open-minded about situations. So I was used to it being in the military. So it was great for me. It was a earn while you learn program. Of course, they give you extra love being a veteran, and that still goes on today. I think that's with all the trades. Of course, we got to take care of our troops. And that was my introduction to it. So.
King, how do you see this trade? Some of the basics of how people could, I would say, become interested, and how do you see this trade being part of the sustainable future?
Well, to get the word out is part of my job. So my job is to go out and into the communities that don't have any, access to information that some communities have. And I go in there and I present, or I just talk to them and let them know about the trades. As far as the sustainable, I mean, I think as far as electricity, we're leading that. As far as installing it, we're part of, I think we're part of the language that's going in there to show them how to properly execute the sustainable, energy technology that's out there. As far as it goes with electricity, like with solar and now the backup batteries. Right now we're on to hydrogen plants that we probably aren't even talking about yet, but I know it's there. So we're already, learning that also. So, I mean, we stay with think tanks and we're forward thinking. We're a forward thinking industry. So I think that, right now we're about to change the way we do a lot of stuff. And a lot of people aren't going to like it because, of course, no one likes change when they're comfortable and have their routine, but it's definitely going to be better. Just like the internet changed a lot of lives. I mean, even now we're on Zoom instead of in person because of the internet. So it's affecting our lives now, and it's going to continue. And, hopefully it's going to help us be better humans, people, livelihoods. Right now I'm loving the Zoom. I don't like it because it's not personable. You don't get to really see people, but you do get to be a lot of places real quick without having to travel. And especially out here in Los Angeles with the traffic, it's always a battle trying to make some of the meetings. So a lot of times we have to cancel meetings or, it doesn't work out. So we miss out on a lot. But with this Zoom, we're able to, attend a lot of meetings that we normally would have to choose between. So, but I think as far as the future, I think our industry is leading that. We're definitely going to be here for a while.
Could you tell me, just piggyback off of word can you tell me a little bit about the think tanks that you got to break that down for those? So
think tanks are like you have the incubators, the LACI. They think of new technologies and new ways to improve the environment, make it green, make it better, improve on what's already existing to make it even better. And a lot of those times they come up with ways, but then sometimes it's not as cut dry as they want to think it. So usually we go in there and they'll ask our opinion on how can we get this to do this in a safe and install it in a safe way for either the customer, the owner, consumer that wants to use it, because it has to be safe. That we can't make it green and it'd be dangerous. Save the environment, but you can't touch it. So it's stuff like that. So we go in there and we with our theories of electrical, give them a better view. And sometimes it works out to be even better, and then sometimes it's just we got to scrap it up and let's rethink this again. So we are involved with those think tanks, and they're basically just a strong mind scientists, engineers that come together to try to make the world a greener place, because that's what we're trying to save the planet now. We've done a lot of misuse of things and not paid attention to our environment while we're coming out with with all these industrial buildings. And so now we're trying to clean it up and do the best we can. So, but those are some of the think tanks. There's more, but I know that's one of them that I know I deal with.
Cool. Also, I wanted to, from your answer, I also wanted to dig a little deeper when you talked about change and prepping people for change in the way that they may receive energy now and things of that nature. Like, how are you guys prepping or moving people, or even talking to the industry about significant changes that are coming down the pipeline, that are in the pipeline, or that are present right now?
A lot of it is through through example. Like right now, our building, our facility is an example of a presentation. We are a net zero plus building. So we are off the grid. We supply energy into the grid because we're not using that much. We're producing a lot more. And it's just not just with the lights and plugs. It goes into the HVAC, which is your air conditioning and heating. It goes into your plumbing. It goes into your boiler rooms. Everything that, I mean, even with the lighting, we have solar shades. So like say you have a window, a one-sided of the building is all glass. Usually that's the hottest part of the building because the sun is coming in through that glass just off the heat of the sun itself. And so we got a technology which is a solar shade. Well, they call it a electrochromatic glass is what it's actually called. And what it does is when that sun hits that glass and that heat starts to come, it automatically shade. And it's made in 3 panels. So you don't have to shade the whole thing. It only shades where that sun hits. So throughout the day, the sun goes up and it just follows it. And it keeps it at a temperature. So it's like having like tint in your car to keep the heat out. It's pretty much the same thing, but it's done electronically. So that's one of the things that are helped out, because we had one situation where we had everything all green, and then we went to go test it, and we were wondering why this part of the building is still producing more energy. Well, when they found out, like I said, the glass, off the desks that were by the glass, they had air conditioning or fans, and then it was getting, because they were trying to cool it down, the other side was freezing, so they had heaters. So once we knew that, that's where the electrochromatic glass, and then when it did that, it made the whole room equal. So, I mean, trial and error. A lot of it's trial and error. And we do a lot of that trial and error because we'll test it out on us first before we present it. And we also have a new product that's coming out, I think in September. I can't really talk about that now, but that's another green technology that actually hasn't been used yet. So we're kind of proud to be able to put that out. But I'm not at liberty to say what that is yet, but we'll hear about it soon. But like we just had Disney come out to our facility because we know how to retrofit the existing power where you don't have to build a whole new system or build a whole new building to get the energy efficient. We've done it we can retrofit it. And so they came out to see our facility because our facility was one that we did retrofit. And they were very impressed because they want to make all their resorts and all their property. They want to retrofit all their stuff. So they came out to see how it looked. When we have a beautiful dashboard, it shows live, everything is live. So you can see what the lights are producing. If there's nobody in that room, those lights are off. It's programmed. You can always, it's a live system. So, I mean, if you have solar at the house, you can see what you're producing and what you're giving back to the grid or vice versa. And it's the same thing here. But that goes with everything from HVAC, controlling that. We may not need to heat this side of the room because there's no students on that side of the room. So we'll only heat these rooms that the students are in. And we are able to control all that. So it's been good. The bill has been so low. And this is like, I think, 400, I forgot how big this thing is. It's huge. We have a huge campus. And if our power was to go down, if LA was, in fact, it's already happened, but when LA went down, I was on a conference call just like this, and the person's power went out. So they had to call me and let me know, hey, the power went out. I was like, really? I didn't notice because we're not on the grid. So I was still up wondering why she was calling me on the phone instead of being on the computer. And she was just amazed, like, I said, no, our whole building can, and we can be like that for 4 days off, with power. We're sustainable for 4 days. So, and we're electricians, so we know it'll get up within those days. So Plus, we have battery backup, so
right.
we even have more energy stored. So,
right.
So that's the new thing right now with the industry. We had the solar, and we already knew there was going to be a backup to that solar. And a lot of people, I used to go to meetings and councilman meetings, and they're like, if we only knew how to store it. And I'm like, we already know how to. It's just y'all don't want to accept that big bill to do the solar and the back, so we had to do it in phases. And we're at right now in Los Angeles, we're at that phase where we're doing all battery backup for the sustainable, solar powers.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to let you keep a secret, but I know September you'll somehow share with us some new stuff.
As soon as they say we can do it, trust me, we're gonna be bragging. We're so proud of this product we got. We're bragging. I'm really excited about it. So,
okay,
and it's something that we engineered ourselves.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, this was IBEW and our NECA contractors and engineers that did it, and we're installing that technology as we speak. It's being installed, and it's being retrofit. So you don't have to move anything. It's able to tap into it.
All right. Now, knowing that there's a big spectrum of job opportunities within the parameters of your expertise, could you share a little bit of those, jobs and opportunities that are out there for those who want to get involved in the electrical trade?
Yeah, so like right now, we have a big push for women to join our union. And we have women in, but it's low. And a lot of it is just, choice. Sometimes when we present, we always say journeyman, and it sends a red flag, in women's mind that they're not included, but that's just the name of the classification. We have, right now, I think we're at like 7% of women in the trade, and we want to really get that up. So it's all about if they're interested, but that door is open, and we're really looking. So if they apply, most likely they're going to go all the way through, as long as they got all their documentations that we require for you to get in. For our particular apprenticeship, because it's an apprenticeship, everything's online. So, you would have to go to laett.com. I'll put it in the chat. And you would go there, look at the programs. We have 4 programs. You have residential, we have sound, we have intelligent transportation, and inside wiring. I think the reason why we broke those up is because of the tool list. It's pretty big to have, especially for transportation. It's a lot of different tools. And then inside wiring, sound is a little different from inside, but inside is able to do all of those. So that's like the full rounded electrician. All the other programs are just, special. It's just in that particular category. So if you do residential, if you do that program, it's a 3-year program, and you journey out after 3 years, and then you're just working on homes and condominiums and high rises. I think like 2 to 3 stories high is the most for residential. And then for sound, it's like the Geek Squad on 10. So yes, you might have a TV to put up, but it may be as big as the SoFi Stadium Oculus that's in the middle of the stadium. That was our apprentices and journeymen that put that together. So we're proud of that. That's going to be beautiful when we get that up. Plus the sound system, all the communication that goes into that stadium, that's all sound and communication. So it's a great job. Always going to have work. Definitely looking for women to join that. Then we have our intelligent transportation. That is dealing with the traffic signal lights. A lot of people don't realize that is our work. So a lot of times when you see people messing with the street lights or changing a traffic sign, that is our electricians out there, including the railroad system. So you have the signal arms, you have the traffic lights at the railroad system. A lot of people just don't realize we do that. Now they're putting up face recognitions around town, and that's linked to DMV. So it's a lot of new technology out there. So, and then Inside Wireman does it all. They're the commercial electricians. They work in hospitals, high rises, schools, pretty much everything. And they also cover all those other three categories. So if you become an inside wireman, then you're able to do any of those jobs. And the way it works in our trade is we have books. So we have a residential book, we have a sound book, we have a transportation book, and then we have inside wireman. The inside wireman is the only one that can sign all those books. So if it's ever low in inside, he can always run over to residential and pick up a job, or he can do sound or transportation. So you keep yourself employed. And right now we are needing people in the trade. So we have sound and communication open. So that's available to sign up right now. All you need to do is get your documentations. You need to have taken a high school algebra and have a passing grade of a C or above. And that's for 1 year. So you need 2 semesters of that. And then if you don't have that, you can always, and if you've graduated and did some college or university, you just need 1 semester to show that you've taken algebra or above with a C or above. So and then the rest of it is Social Security, driver's license, of course, a reliable transportation, because these jobs aren't, some of them you can catch the bus, and then some of them there's no one around, because we're starting to build it. So you do need to have reliable transportation. Also, it's a learn while you earn program. So we actually pay you to learn our craft when you come in. So that helps them out, because when they go through the school, we assign them to our electrical contractors, and they're part of the school. So even if they have to leave to go to school, you don't have to have an excuse to leave work early. It's encouraged that you be on time for everything that you're assigned to. So if you have a job, you have to be on time for job. You have school, you have to be on time for school. It's like that until you get out. And it's really building you to be reliable and dependable, because in our trade, if you're not there, that task isn't getting done, and we're on a schedule. And we like to be in front of the schedule or way in front of the schedule, but we never want to be behind the schedule. And that's the character we try to build out of everybody. So we'll have somebody that's shy and quiet, but by the time they get through our apprenticeship, they're pretty much ready to be a leader. And that's just the way we train them. You're able to learn everything. When I came in, I didn't have my algebra. I mean, I had algebra, but I didn't pass with that kind of screwed up my senior year. I don't know what was going on there, but I had to take a college course. So I took a college course. So I'm an example of didn't have it together, and I'm still here. So I knew nothing about electrical. As you say, I learned at 9th grade, this crazy guy is messing with the power on a stool ladder, trying to tap in so we can have all night lights as 9th graders. So I knew nothing about it. So I just paid attention in class, and everything they taught us, I've been doing it for 24 years, and I've always done it the safe way all the time. I've never did a shortcut. And usually those guys that do shortcuts, sometimes it results in other people getting hurt, if not themselves. So, the safety precautions are there. We drill it. In fact, it gets so repetitious that sometimes we don't even need to go over that subject, because we went over it so many times, but we do it anyway, because you never know when there's a new guy that's going to show up, or someone that comes from a different state and just don't know that this is what we do when we're here. So it's very, safety is our number one. We want you to go home the same way you came in, happy and alive. And, hopefully with some money in your pocket. Right.
So, Mr. Moore, do you kind of already went into a little bit about some of the if you could elaborate more on some of the entry points that you see for people to come in. I know you talked about a little bit about your school, a little bit about what candidates or minimum requirement, what candidates are you guys looking for? And what are some of the minimum requirements to be part of this trade? And then also, I know you talked about the algebra part. What are some of them, how would I say, strategies or encouragement you guys use with those who may have not had such a pleasant experience in secondary or in hhigh school education?
Well, so that's been our biggest thing as far as the algebra, that because the other trades don't require it, and we do, and that's because we're heavily into algebra. Now, we don't teach it the way you think we teach it in high school. It's just used, you just have to understand it because one, the ruler is fractions. So you need to understand how to read that ruler and then transpose that if you have to do. So it's basic algebra. It's not like they need to know calculus or anything like that. It's just basic algebra. As far as encouraging them to move forward with that being an issue, we have a study guide that's online that's free of charge. We used to charge $15 and we decided let's not charge. Let's give it to them. Let's give them the opportunity to correct themselves. We also have tutoring on campus that's free every third Saturday from 9 to 1. So we have volunteers that come out here and break off the dust from your calculators and stuff. And you can use calculators. So I mean, we teach you everything to rejuvenate your mind on the algebra. And like I said, it's just basic algebra. It's no trick questions. Our aptitude test requires, it's 25 math questions, 15 mechanical reasoning questions, and 10 reading and comprehension. And mechanical reasoning is like you have two wheels with a rope going through it. And if this wheel turns, which way will the other one turn? So it's just to let you know how mechanics work. And I think we do that because of that's another safety issue that we have, is called pinch points. So you want to know how these mechanisms move so that you can stay clear and be in a safe distance from all this stuff. So it's pretty good, but we have tutoring. So even if I tell people to just go pick up Algebra for Dummies or come to our class because it's free. All it takes is you to get up in the morning and come here. You don't have to register to get here. We've had over 200 people come here to tutor, and we always have someone here to help everyone. So we're definitely encouraging. The other thing that we're really looking for is we're really looking for electricians, people that really want to be electricians, not for the money, not because their friend said it's a good gig, but you truly are interested in the electrical field, because this is a career, it's not a job. So, you want to invest. If you're going to come here, we expect you to invest your time into this trade, to learn it, to stay up to date. We're constantly in school because we have to have 32 hours of class time every 3 years. So we're always learning. We're always educating and updating because the code changes, city code changes. So we have to stay up with the code, and we teach all that stuff, including with the new technology. Like with solar, I think we were 2 years in advance teaching solar when it was still like, I remember when I took it, I was like, wow, we're doing DC and AC. We had to learn that it was an inverter that switched it. And, that was just something that didn't exist before. So we're always upgrading. So I always say, if you want to be an electrician, you're going to do whatever it takes to be that. I mean, if you want to be a rapper, you're going to be in the studio for a long time. You're not going to make no money, but you're going to be in there because you believe in yourself. And we just want people that want to believe in themselves as being an electrician. And the way we teach, it's a brotherhood, it's a sisterhood. No, it's not no one gets left behind. It's everyone will understand. So even if it takes you 3 times to get it, we're going to do it 3 times till you get it. So you have access to your teachers, you have access to your coworkers, you have your journeyman that's on the job, anybody will help you with anything that you're having in school, because that's the way we do it. Once I learned, I knew I was going to be the teacher for anybody that was underneath me. And that's the way we've been passing it on. And so once you're in this program, you're not going to fail unless you just want to quit, because you have too many people that's trying to help you succeed. Because one, if you're on that other end of that wire, I need you to know everything you need to know so that you don't hurt me on this side of the wire. So we're very, very strong in making sure everyone understands what's going on. So even in our, like I said, every morning we have a safety meeting every morning. And before we start work, we go over what possibly could go wrong. How are we going to avoid this? And we talk about it so that before we start, everybody's back on the same page. Never know what they had to deal with when they were at home. So we want to make sure everybody's on the same page when we come into work. And then if we have to change tasks, we'll stop and go over the precautions again on the new task. So we're constantly making sure everybody's abreast about the information that they need so that we can successfully complete our tasks and stay on schedule. But it's a brotherhood and it's a sisterhood. I can't explain it unless you're in here. It's not like working a regular job where you have to do this and they have to do this and y'all never intermingle unless you go out for lunch or at the bar after work and then you talk about it. Here we're entangled constantly. In fact, they'll be with us more than they will be with their family because we work a lot of hours.
Right.
But it's fun. It's not, to be honest with you, this trade it's not hard. It's about knowledge and having the right tools and being in the right mindset, having your gear ready, having your protective gear on, and attacking it. And it's you have to be goal orientated. You have to want to succeed. So I don't need anybody to tell me that those lights are put in, they were good. If I flick that switch and the light come on, I know it's good because it came on. Yeah. So it's instant gratification. So, you have to like working with your hands. Uh-huh. You have to be a goal setter. You want to push yourself, but we teach you that, you'll end up being competitive, but in a friendly mode, nothing too serious where it messes with your money or anything like that. Like I said, we're paying you to learn the trade. So.
Right. With, you've been able to touch on different parts of some of the predetermined questions that we had before. I'm going to go to the chat.
Ask me anyway.
Yeah. I'm going to go to the chat, and then after this question, I'm going to open it up for the people that are here if they have questions, and then I'll kind of, double dutch my way back into stuff. But from Jenny in the chat, she said, what are some of the challenges women face in this industry?
I think it's just the knowledge that they don't think they're wanted. And it's so untrue. The doors are open. It's just, it doesn't, I think that, because, we like I said, we have women groups in our union with like empowerment, that teaches them like, hey, they're